Hey friends, Kevin Gehring here, your Sacramento, Stockton area realtor and lender here with this week's weekly real estate report. Now, before I get into the report, I want to give you a little advice on your credit report. Now, a lot of people are very concerned about somebody getting into their credit report or opening up a fraudulent account under their name, and that rightfully so. That happens all of the time, and it's horrible if it happens to you. So here's my tip. Now, while things like Credit Karma and LifeLock and paid programs are out there to help protect you and notify you when somebody has access to your credit, how much better is it to stop them before that happens, right? Okay, so I highly recommend, if you want to do those products, great, but your primary defense for your credit should be a credit freeze. What you do is you go to TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, the big three bureaus, and once you're on their website, it's easy to do. You'll find a spot where it says credit freeze. You say, I want to freeze my credit. And what that does, it locks down your credit. Even you can't open up a new account unless you go back into that bureau and you have a special code, which by the way, probably don't keep on your computer so a hacker can't find it there. The special code, you have to enter that special code to unfreeze your credit. You can unfreeze it for a period of time for a specific lender or even stop the freeze altogether, but don't do that, right? Just for a period of time. Now, the great thing about this is, and I read years ago when I first heard about this, that it would actually give you a small boost in your credit score. Now, don't know if that's true or not, but I did it. Now, we're going back well over 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago when I did this. I tried it. And I monitored my credit, and there was a before and after, and it did in fact go up 5 points, just like I had heard. Now, coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. But in logic, it should tell you that if you do freeze your credit, you can't use your credit on a whim. You know, you're out at a store, somebody says, hey, would you like to use pull out a credit card to open up a new account? You'll say 5%. Number one, don't ever do that. It's bad for you. But you can't, because your credit is frozen. You would have to go home, get the secret number, unfreeze your account. Now, some of these bureaus are charging a little bit of money, maybe $5 for each unfreeze. So if for yourself, you have to unfreeze all three, that's 15 bucks. If you're married and you're doing joint, that would be 30 bucks. Well worth it. I'd rather spend 30 bucks maybe once a year, once every other year for a new account, if that's what you're doing, even that's a lot, than I would to fight somebody who opened a fraudulent account and destroyed my credit. So that's your tip right there. Let's talk about the market and what's going on with the market. Take a look at the green line. Wow, that is our inventory. It is at historically low levels. I'm hearing it's historically low for the past 20 years. But the past 1, 2, 3 weeks in a row, if we zoom in, we can see that we have got more inventory coming in. I told you, based upon the statistics in the past, we would probably start to see more inventory near the end of this month is when I really expect it to start taking off. But that's just based upon what's happening. So in the past. The blue line, well, no shock there. The pending sales continue to climb. It's like as soon as a house comes on the market, boom, there's multiple families right there, multiple buyers ready to jump on that and get into a home. A lot of people out there want to get into their new homes. So what does that mean? Well, supply, demand, prices keep going up. But look at how much these prices are going up. So we're starting back here in early February. We had a big jump of about $15,000 in the median. And then every single week beyond that, there's been a $5,000 increase in the median home price per week. How much more? That doesn't seem sustainable to me. Something's going to have to correct at some point, and I'm hoping that it's just a natural correction that as the inventory comes up, that the supply and demand will equalize and home prices will stabilize. So there are a lot of people out there who are talking about the hidden numbers for people who have not been paying rent and mortgage in the millions. And these experts are pointing to that as the next mortgage crash, that as soon as the banks start to take action, as soon as they're prevented from foreclosure or eviction moratoriums, that there's going to be this huge correction. Well, a representative out of, I believe it's Minnesota, Representative Omar, she has introduced a bill that does have some backing to it that basically talks about taking mortgage and rent and making those payments what's the word I want to use here? I don't want to use forbearance, but basically it's a pause where you don't have to make your payments at all And it's not like it's going to necessarily go to the end or there's going to be any sort of, well, especially for rent, they're not going to tack it on the end. It's just, hey, if you're renting a house for the next, whatever, year and a half, however long the pandemic lasts, you don't have to make a rent payment. And you just get to live there for free. And then when this is all over, you start making your payment again. For mortgage, I believe what it would be is you just stop making your payment now, and then you will pick it back up again later. And I don't know if they're going to tack that on to the end or not. I think it just pauses the amount that you owed, similar to what they're doing right now with student loans. First, if you have a student loan, there's zero interest being added, and you don't have to make any payments, at least until I believe it's now September. So I want to do the same thing with mortgages. So imagine that. So what happens to a landlord who's expecting rents to help make their payments? Well, they don't have to make the payment on the house, apparently. And if they're using that money for income, that's okay, because the government is going to subsidize and out of a fund and give the landlord the missed rents. So there you go. Rent's taken care of. There's also talk about making another fund that is going to help the mortgage companies who are not making any money because we're not making mortgage payments, make their payments. So I just, a house of cards is what keeps coming to mind here. I think that would be a gigantic disaster. Now, I'm all for helping people who need help, but just as blanket, hey, let's just stop making payments. There's so many industries dependent on this that are all going to fall apart. And of course, what's going to happen too is if you're a borrower and you're thinking about selling your house and moving up, if you haven't been making your house payment, lenders aren't going to want to talk to you. So it could be a bad deal. Anyway, that's the news though. That's what's happening. So mortgage rates this week went up a little bit. No huge surprise, right? We've heard it in the news, mortgage rates have been going up. They really didn't go up that much. Freddie Mac is reporting they went up 0.02%, 2 basis points. So they went up from, let me see, last week from 3.05% to 3.09. But what did go up is it was 0.6 points average to get that rate. It's now 0.7, which is actually kind of more of the normal, what I'm seeing anyway. So 0.7 will get you 3.09. But, there's a lot of lenders out there that are doing a lot better than that. Remember, that's the average. So if you've got good credit, you've got good loan to value, plant equity in your house, you can expect to see more than that. A better rate than that, I should say. So still in the twos. Anyway, hey, that's it for this week. And I hope to see you here again next week. Take care. Bye.